Hello, hi, good morning, guys. My name is Piotr Źrołka, and I will talk a little bit about the accessibility and how to verify accessibility on the daily basis. So I will share my screen. I wish that you will be able to see my presentation. And maybe I will try to somehow hide the video so it will not concern you too much. Okay, perfect. So my name is Piotr Źrołka. I'm running the small studio Kinola in the Wrocław. I'm also very eager to go there because we currently, a few months ago, we generated the accessibility report about the Polish university in Poland. And we're planning to run another report about the e-commerce. And today I will do a little bit of testing around that. So going further, so how the speech today will be look like? In the 10 minutes, I will talk a little bit accessibility. So everyone will be a little bit familiar. What is accessibility? Why it's so important? And then we will jump into some success criteria that supposed to be validate by the people who building the digital product. And I will be switching between the presentation and we will go to the browser. I will also show you some of the tools that I'm using on the daily basis as the person who also doing the audit. And we will try to validate some of the page. Today, I decided to go with the Wrocław City main page and also the e-commerce page, the olex.pl, and we will try to verify the accessibility of those pages. Why we're talking about accessibility, approximately 15% of the population having a different kind of the impairment. First one is the visual impairment. Also, it's very important to say that there is a temporary and permanent disability, because on the left side, you can see that the person who perhaps cannot see, but on the left side, on the right side, you can see the person who just clicking on the mobile when driving, and the weather is quite bad. So he might be a distract in this moment, and imagine if the animal will enter on the street or the human being will enter on the street, what might happen? So this is also temporary disability. This example of the how the people with the colorblind perspective perceive the different, perceive the same view, but having a visual impairment in terms of color blindness. The next one is the motor impairment. So the same temporary and permanent one. So you can see the person who don't have hands and perhaps he using or control the digital product using the pencil in the mouth, or control the product with the voice control. It really depends. On the right side, you're seeing the daddy who holds the kid, and perhaps we're having only one hand to take the laundry, make a tea or coffee. So there's also temporary disability. Also, if you broke the arm, you also consider as the person who is disabled because perhaps you're not able to use the fully operable keyboard with the two hands. Also deaf people, so everything related to the sounds that we're hearing. The same, imagine if before the COVID you were in the place that was very crowded, and perhaps you also speak a little bit more loudly in order to be understandable by another person. And also we're having cognitive, the language barriers that sometimes that might happen for the people. So this is a little bit in the natural. I don't want to go in detail because we want to focus on the testing. And usually when we're building the digital solution, our aim is build for everyone. for the older, younger people with the visual impairment, etc. There is, let's say, our ideal world, but usually we're building unfortunately the product for certain people. So this is a little bit not okay. So we need to change this perspective, and we need to include a more and more inclusiveness into our digital product. And here there is a top of the screen readers, and screen readers which used by the people who having the visual impairment. The top of them are this NVDA, JAS, and the Voiceover. Sorry for Polish. This it seems I haven't translated this into the Polish. But there is a free screen readers which announce everything what happened on our computer. It might be HTML, it might be a JavaScript, it might be a Flash. And when we building the digital product, and if we build the product according to rules, everything should be fine. But if we are doing some hacks, screen readers might have a little bit a challenge to do this. Why I'm talking about the screen readers? Because usually, at least in the Poland, people thinking, okay, I will verify that with the screen reader and everything will be fine. I will show you something that is super important. There is compatibility with a different screen readers and the browsers. When we build, let's say, the perfect solution, and we use the ARIA. ARIA is the meta language, especially for the screen readers. And we can see on the screen, and I totally recommend this page, Power Mapper screen readers, because from time to time, they updating this information with the new screen readers. And we can see that we can have a different reliability in terms of the screen reader that we select, and also the browser that we using on a daily basis. So if we use the JAWS on the Chrome, and that was this test was done 1 year ago, we can have a 90% reliability if we using everything according to the book. So still there is a 10% that might not be announced by the screen reader. And even if, for example, if it's exactly the same screen reader, exactly the same digital product on the Firefox, you can have a little bit lower result. So in terms of the building digital product, you need to be aware how to use the ARIA syntax and HTML in the proper way. And also testing with the one screen reader, with the one browser, might be a little bit fluffy. So it might not give you the result that you're looking for. So it's very important. And I don't recommend to use the screen readers as the testing tool. It might be used as the verification where we are with the accessibility. But for sure, it shouldn't be used as the verification tool to tell, yes, you're accessible, and so on. So please remember that and don't use this as a statement. Here is a different, for example, also in the Kinaola, we're doing the testing on the verification with the different screen readers. And this is an example how we can use the screen reader on the iOS devices. And also TalkBack is something that is used on the Android. So you see there is a plenty of the commands that you need to learn. And those are a little bit different based on the device. So if you're an Android user, you might be familiar with that. But if you buy the Apple, you need to learn a little bit of new setup. And honestly, the Apple is doing, and also the Google doing the amazing job with the accessibility, and more the mobile system are accessible on the daily basis. I also totally recommend the Trusted Tester program. Is totally for free, a program that teach you how to verify the digital product, including the accessibility. You need to invest approximately from 60 to 100 hours to finish this course. So that's require a little bit time, and this is totally online. So you can adjust your time on the daily basis and finish this according to your plan. Totally recommended. Is the best source of the training path. Is it totally for free, and is it done by the organization Homeland Security that also giving you a certificate, because after this course you will have free tries to receive the trusted tester certification, and this allow you to do the accessibility audit in the US. So this is, let's say, the worldwide certificate which give you this opportunity. Yes, you understand what is the accessibility, and you will have a special certification for that. The exam is a super hard, I would say, because you're receiving a web page, and you need to find the 90% of the all accessibility issue which were introduced on the page. So there is only, let's say, the 10% you can skip. So it's a quite extensive in terms of the time, and also you're having a time limit for that. So there is approximately 24 hours to finish this, but the entire exam takes 5-6 hours to really accomplish if you know how to verify the solution, etc. So I totally recommend to go with the course, not necessarily go to the exam, but this is for free. Still is for free, so you can try your thing. Accessibility is the usability. So this is a statement that I don't need to translate. One person on 7 might be disabled now, and we are older and older. So accessibility, inclusive design will be a super buzzword in the next year. Okay, a little bit why the accessibility is super important. The number of the lawsuit is growing in the US and also will be growing in the Europe. So this is a statement from 2020, yeah. And you can see there is more than 3,000 lawsuits in the US. So this number is really growing. Example, the Netflix. Netflix paid $700,000 because he forgot to put the subtitles, which are one of the requirements of the accessibility. On the other side, there is a Tesco case which invests £35,000, and his revenue is up to 30 million pounds next year. So there is the best ROI of the investment in the history of the accessibility. Different cases, Domino Pizza. A blind person sued the Domino because he was not able to order the pizza on the web page. Of course, that is in the US. Zoom, we're having also today the meeting on the Zoom, and deaf people, deaf users sue the Zoom because in the free version, they don't allow to put the transcription during the meeting. So there is, I can see there is more and more those cases around the globe. And very interesting report, Click Away Pound, which stated that approximately companies in the UK losing every year 17 billion pounds because they are not accessible. So people decide to select the shops or the e-commerce which are accessible in the way that they can proceed to buy things and so on. Okay, so maybe a little bit of speed up because I'm the little bit a talkative person. So let's jump into that testing. This is the main purpose of today's conversation. So today, I totally recommend those tools and a little bit overview. Access DevTools is the automation tools that you can just install on the browser. You can also have your own instance in your development stack, and I totally recommend this tool. one thing, you cannot automate the accessibility in 100%. The tools that automate something, they're giving you approximately 30–40% of the all issues that might be on the page. But this is quite good score. This is very quick to just start it. I will show that in a moment, and we'll go a little bit deep dive in that. The another tool that I totally recommend for the testing is the landmark navigation, is the add-on that you can install either on the Firefox or the Chrome. And they're giving you a little bit information about the landmarks that you use on the page. And this is for free. And then another add-on that I totally recommend is the Things Map, which is also for free. You can install that on the Chrome, and you can install on the Firefox. And last but not least, the manual test. Unfortunately, if you want to verify your page, there's a lot manual test. Approximately one page, it takes from 3 to even 10 hours to validate in terms of accessibility and prepare a report for this one page, which is you can enter. Like, for example, Wrocław City, my estimation for this page, it will be approximately 5 hours to validate one single page on that. And usually when we're doing the audit, we don't verify every page that is listed on the system. And maybe I will just switch to the page. So I already told you that we'll be verified at Wrocław City. And if you're running the accessibility audit, it's not the matter that there will be 10,000 pages and we need to verify that. No, you need to decide wisely, and you need to select those sub-pages which have a similar content or similar templates, because usually the pages are built based on some templates. So first thing that you're doing when you're doing the accessibility audit, let's select the pages that you're planning to run the accessibility audit. Usually for such pages like the Wrocław City or the OLX, usually it will be from 5 to 10, 11 pages. So for example, on the OLX, there will be definitely the main page. The next one, it might be some search criteria. So for example, we can have here, we're having the filters, we're having the search. So for me, there's another page, and entire, of course, which we can verify the accessibility audit. The next page that perhaps it will be good to verify is the ad that we just using. So for example, there is some car, sorry for promotion, this is really accidentally, so I don't want to promote the brand or this advertisement, but this is, let's say, the template that is really repeat around and around. If we select a different one, it's exactly the same, because we're having some pictures, we're having some contact information, we're having some localization, and also we're having a description which is listed here. So we already having the main page, the search, and this. So we're having the 3 pages. Of course, we can go deep dive, and perhaps if you want to buy something on the OLX, you need a register. So maybe there will be another page that we need to decide to select for our accessibility audit. And then if you if you define the list of the pages that you're gonna to test, voila, you can start your accessibility audit. And now I will just show you this, the tool that I already mentioned is the RC toolkit. Of course, there is a lot more. I don't recommend the Wave. I know that some of you may be saying, yeah, the Wave, I'm using the Wave, it's really accessible. but from my professional matter, we having a lot issues and also require a little bit of knowledge how it works, because sometimes it's showing the things that are not issues, it's rather the wave issues. So I don't recommend this. I'm not using the wave on the, let's say, the professional work environment. I prefer to use the RC tool, or also there is an AXA DevTools. There is a very similar tools which allows you to first thing to automate very quickly the first page the page that you're trying to audit. So I'm going to the AXA, I'm clicking here, scan this page. It usually takes from 2 seconds to 20 seconds, is the matter of the how the page is big. And what we're having here, there is a 122 accessibility issue on this page. So we're having already the URL, and very important, and I really love this because through this tool, you can also learn what the accessibility really mean. And we can have a statement that HTML element must have a length attribute. So maybe you're familiar or not, but if you're building the web page, usually is split it into 3 sections. First thing is the HTML, and then you're having the head, body, and you just close it. So there is elements that usually how you define the page, and it's very, I would say, important. And this is information from the sometimes from primary school, that if you're building the page, you need to define the language. Maybe I will make this a little bit bigger so you can see. It's also part of the accessibility, so audience is able to read the information from my screen. And you can see it's very important to define the language attribute. Now I'm back to this AXA, and from some reason you are not familiar with the WCEG success criteria, you can always click here and you can click the magic button, more info, and there is a little bit explanation how to fix the problem. So this is, as you already see, there is language attribute, and on the HTML element, it should define the language code, which, first of all, tell what is the language of the page. And then when you're using the screen reader, this will be a first information that will be announced by the screen reader. So screen reader just change the language on the language that you define in this HTML. So for example, if the OLX page is the Polish, but my first language on my computer, as you can see, is English, then screen reader will automatically change this to the Polish one. Of course, if screen reader has this language in the library. Luckily, the NVDA, the Voiceover, and JAWS, they having a full support for Polish language. And here also you're having why this is so super important, and so on and so on. And also you're having a very important link which redirect you to the WCEG Bible. Yeah, I call it this a Bible because the funny thing, the WCEG is not yesterday. It came almost 20 years ago, and there is a good practice how to build a digital product. So you can having, for example, using language attributes on the HTML element. You have a little bit explanation. Maybe it's not, it's a lot text. Maybe people really don't like to be familiar with that because indeed, the old WCEG, it will take the ages because if you want to print out everything from the WCEG, it will cover approximately 2,000 try this. This is some news from somebody who mentioned about that. I don't know if you hear me, but there is some communication that my internet is not stable and make a little bit. And so this entire Bible that you can print and learn, there is a lot of different requirements and so on. But jumping back to the tools, so I recommend Access tools. I recommend RC tool as the first tool that verify your accessibility of the page, and we can also try this another one, RC toolkit. I just run the test. It's coming, and here you're having a little bit in the old-fashioned, but also you're having this is split into different sections. You're having the media, you're having the structure, you're having a keyboard issue, you're having the ARIA issue, there is also color contrast issues, and IDs, which is listed on the page. There is also DOM validator, and that you can verify this page using the validation. And here you listed all issues only on this single page. Of course, you can use the library of the both tools. Some of them require the license, but for me, it is a really good start. It's give you for almost for free. It's only require your time and a little bit understanding what those issues means from a user perspective and also from the accessibility perspective. But I will let's tell this in the second. So another tool that I totally supported is the Andy. Andy is a really great tool that you can just install in your browser tab. So it's listed here. I just set up this. So there's a bookmark. And when I click on that, the Andy just open. And I having a different elements, which allows me to verify this different one. And for example, when I select the color contrast, I can, for example, see there is a one color, there is a one font which doesn't meet the minimum color contrast on this page. And this is exactly this one. And I totally agree because the color of this font is almost the same as the background. So for some people, it might be a little bit a challenge to see this. And also Andy, as you see here, is also showing you on the top, why is a fail? So Andy, just read this, the color contrast is a 2.97 to 1 is a fail because minimum requirement is a 4.5 to 1. There is a text color, there is a background. Of course, sometimes you need a double check because we can see Andy or the other tools might be wrong, but you need to verify that. For me, I totally agree with that. Also, there is information about the font size. Even the Andy suggests the text color. So how you can change very quickly in order to fulfill the minimum color contrast on your web page or the digital product. So this is very handy. For example, if you don't have the UX graphic people in your organization, this might be something that you can very quickly fix for your web page. Also, I really love the Andy for this tab order function. It's really amazing because it's showing you how the keyboard focus will be jumping over the page. So we can see first it jumps here, then here. So it means that perhaps when you use the keyboard, there will be twice on this element. So this potentially might means that there's something wrong with the definition of this element. And then we can jump and we can see, okay, so for this 1, 1, so something is wrong here. So let's require a little bit deep dive. Then there's a 4, 5, 6, 7. Then there is no number for add ad commercial, ad advertisement. So it might be an issue, it might be true. So it means that it's not keyboard accessible. We can try this, of course, when we use the keyboard only. And you can see there is also issue sometimes that you are not able to see the focus. So there is another tool that I'm using and I'm not able to find it now. Perhaps it's okay. You see, I'm not able to see the focus. So there's another issue when you're trying to use the keyboard only. And yeah, it means that yes. So then I'm not able to see the focus.
Welcome to Voiceover.
I can use the voiceover. And you can see
link visited link visited link,
and you can see here
you are currently on a link.
What the voiceover will read.
Leading toolbar item palette. Bring up visited link. Visited link.
There is a twice visit the link.
Chrome has new window. Visited link. Visited link. Visited link. Link. Visited link. Link. Visited link.
Ogłoszenia sprzedam.
Voiceover off.
Yeah, for this very quick test, I can verify that yes, I'm able to reach the dodaj ogłoszenia, but or add the commercial in English. But there is something wrong with this. Definitely, there is a screen reader when I'm using the keyboard. It's announced double the twice this logo on the OLX. Of course.
Welcome to Voiceover.
If you're using the, if you're testing the accessibility, it's really good to know the basic of the HTML. It really helps you a lot. And how we can verify that? So we can see there is one ref element here. So this is definition of the link. So we can see, yeah, there is a link, even this link having some title, but also there is another link. Okay, this is another link of that. Let me check this quickly. Span. Okay, the title. Okay, this is very interesting. You know, I decided to choose this page today. Okay, this is a link. And what's wrong is here. Okay, this is some animation. So perhaps, and there is also that one span, and it's okay. So, okay, I'm saying this. So he reading the ref, ogłoszenia sprzedam kupię OLX, and then again, this text is a little bit outside, and he screen reader also announced this. So this is why if I remove this, perhaps let's try, because you can also make a little bit changes in your color code. Okay, unfortunately, it's still there. I see. Okay, so number 3 is related to the dodaj ogłoszenia. So you can see when I hover over, and this is again only the tool that require also the double checking. But also this is very interesting because it's showing the dodaj ogłoszenia, but it's listed here. So it's not ideal, but if we jump into the structure, we can see in the DOM structure of the HTML, here everything is in the one div element. And perhaps this is the issue because it's listed this and this, and this is magic happen here, and somehow this element is listed on the right side. So I would say also the way that somebody define this isn't the proper one, because I can be quite lost one, because the first is OLX, then the dodaj ogłoszenia, and then I'm jumping again to the navbar. Okay, I see the okay, sprzedam opłakę. If there is a question, what takes 10, okay, I will maybe answer some question. What takes the 10 hours to validate page? For example, this manual checking of the page. Because if you're having, for example, the picture, I will go in the one step further. Every non-text content element should have the alternative text. So if you already, the Andy or the different tool tell you that all graphics, I will do this in this moment, graphics, it's saying that every image on this page having the alternative text. And there is a really fantastic. So this automation give me already the clue that, okay, all images having the alternative text, but I don't believe this, and I need to manually check everything. So for example, if I'm having a search icon here, I need to verify what the screen reader will announce when I enter this information, because Andy does discover, okay, this is some definition of this element, but I need to be super clear. And for example, this element, this is a search icon. There is no alternative text for that. So it means the person who will reach this will not tell nothing, or maybe even they will tell the wrong information. Here is the Shukai on the another way, and this is the same story. So we're having a Shukai. There is some icon, again, icon, which doesn't have the description. And maybe you can ask, okay, it shouldn't have because it's already text thing, but if shouldn't be, then you need to define for the screen reader that this is area hidden true. And this is something that you should define for the elements that you don't want to be announced by the screen readers. And for example, this one finding, you need to verify, you need to find out and put into text. The same. Let's jump the further. So we, for example, here there is some, for example, this is non-text content. So there is some icons. If I want to verify that, what is the description of that? Usually I do the manual test. So what I can see here, there is a list, fantastic, because the list is really something that we should use in this case. Why? Because when I use the screen reader, it will be announced, there is 4 elements. Fantastic. And then I'm going further. There is only link, Facebook, etc., and target blank. If you know what is a target blank means, it means that this page will be open in the new tab. So what does it really mean? It means that, first of all, there is no alternative text for the Facebook. One issue. Second issue, there is no information that this element will be open in the new page. Second issue, only for this small icon. And unfortunately, any automation like RC tool or the Wave or the AXA will not give you this information for free. So you need to look, of course, you can write the automation test script which discover if there will be a target blank, verify if there is information about the opening in the new tab. But how to address the opening in the new tab? It might be in the different way. So for example, you can just do something like that. Span class screen reader only. So you can define the class, which will be only for the screen readers. Then you're defining the title. Facebook open in a new tab. Span. Of course, I need to add this class to the CSS. There is no this information now, and now it's a better because already information that it will be opening in the new tab. But still, there is no information what I'm opening. So, because if you're putting only this URL address, screen reader will read either https://www.facebook.com/olex.polska. No, you need to also provide the right information. So you need to provide, for example, olex.pl Facebook fan page. Voila. And if this page is in the Polish, but for example, the Facebook is the English name, if you're having the language here on the top, the Polish one, so this page will be read in the Polish. So Facebook will be read using the Polish declination. If you want to change it, then it will be really good to also add the language which you want to announce this information. So then for sure, you will receive this information in the English declination. And for example, for this small element, there is two issues that we need to report. And there is more and more. So if I go this, we're having some image. Luckily, it's the background image. So the rules are not applied for that. Fantastic. So we can go farther. Oh, there is very interesting thing because there is a get in on Google Play. So there is a perhaps image. And there is a great example. Because we're having the link, there is a spam with Google Play. And this is also funny because what they're trying to achieve this, there is also issue because in the WCEG, if we go here for this criteria is non-text content. It's telling that all non-text content is presented to the user has a text alternative that serves the equivalent purpose, except for the situation listed below. So there is some situation that we can fulfill. And there is a list of the requirements that we need to provide and some example how we can adjust this. Okay, it seems that I'm running out of time, but maybe I will try to answer some question. Are there audited libraries for the components that webmaster can use for the page development? Yes, there is a few libraries, but the problem is they are still changing over and over. For example, Bootstrap is not super accessible. Material design is also not super accessible. So I would say the Telerik. Telerik, it's if you heard this name, is quite good. But the question is, how usually if you're using the one-to-one library or you're doing small hacks for your product, so usually you're adjusting. So I will not base on the libraries to build your accessible product. It should be based in your company identity to DNA to understand how to fulfill with the accessibility. What are your prediction for future of the accessibility testing? What do you recommend beside tester conformance test to learn in this topic? So my prediction, because in the Europe there is already European Accessibility Act, which putting requirement on the public sector to be accessible in this year, and also in the next years there will be a finance and other industry. So this topic will be completely growing. In my perspective, the accessibility testing, there will be a new buzzword in the upcoming years. And some of the manual tester maybe will go to this field, and also people who are doing the automation, because there is a room to build the automation testing for that, for your own purpose, for your own company. If you, for example, building some product on the daily basis. And there is more and more companies doing the accessibility audit, building the new, let's say, the technology, which will give you the more and more new requirements that is growing. Also, the WCEG is changing. Today we're having a WCEG 2.1, but also there is a 2.2, and there is a new requirements. As you can see, there is a draft version in the May, probably in the end of this year or the beginning of the next one. This will be released. So there will be a new success criteria that should be validated and should be audited. And also there is a WCEG 3.0, which is a totally new one. And there is also a draft version of that. There's a totally new approach how to do the accessibility audit, and how to verify. So this is totally, completely new way to run it. And how to learn it? You can practice. There is a few trainings in the Poland that are running through different companies. I don't want to promote any of them. And self-development, because if you have enough time, WCEG is totally for free. You can just enter the page, and there is honestly the plenty way, first of all, how to meet this non-text content. And you can see there is also, for only images, there is a different scenario. So for example, if there is only a short description, there is some recommendation how you can address this. We only discuss this popular alternative attributes out for the images, but also if you want to do this at slightly different, there is an ARIA label. But for the ARIA, you need to have a practice, and you need to have some rule when you're using the ARIA, because if you use the ARIA meta language in the incorrect way, you can accomplish with inaccessible product. So read this very, very carefully. And there is, honestly, everything is here, but it's required time to adjust. You told about some accessibility testing tools for web page. Can you recommend some mobile accessibility test? Yes, for Android, there is a quite good accessibility scanner. I totally recommend this one. This is accessibility scanner, totally recommended. It's run by Google. It's having a quite good score. It's a little bit automated because you're just doing the clicking through the application, and it's automatically cover the different kind of the issues, and is quite good. So for the and the same is for the iOS. There is, but require a little bit Xcode perspective. But this is a really good starting point for the people who want to run the accessibility audit on the Android. And in terms of the NVDA, NVDA is only on the Windows. If you want to run the Voiceover, because Voiceover is designed on the Mac and is already built in. So you don't need to have anything special. You can just click the command at F5 and you can use. Of course, there is thousands of the different shortcuts for the both NVDA, JAWS, and the voiceovers. Here, I would just show you some of them. And very interesting is that, for example, you can jump to the headings level using only one letter when you're running the NVDA. And the same is for the voiceover. So command F5 and you're running the voiceover on the Mac. And if you want to run the voiceover on the mobile, you're going to the accessibility, or you triple pushes on the home button, or if you have a new iPhone, you need a check. Okay, next question. Are there dev environment plugin to suggest or oriented additional during development? So I totally recommend RC Toolkit. It's having the JavaScript, it's having the library, and AXA is also having a fantastic library that you can incorporate in your dev environment. I don't know what is your setup, but this, I would say, it will be good enough. Also, it's already very, sorry, this is a very short meeting, but also in the Google, there is also accessibility. Accessibility, which tell you what is your current level of your page. So if you don't like to use any other, you can always use the Google one, because accessibility is also something that influence your result in the Google search engine. It's really running, because one of the accessibility requirement is the heading structure, and the heading structure is very important from the CEO perspective. So SEO, how to preside the page on the in the Google result. So Lighthouse is just warming up, but also this is something that you can run. Honestly, I don't like the Lighthouse because it's very limited. It's not giving you the full scope of the accessibility issue, but it's also good for beginning. And okay, in the end, books. Definitely, I would recommend the book Mismatch. Inclusive design. So it's really fantastic at giving you a little bit overview about inclusive design, etc. And also there is a quite good book from the Smashing magazine, how to I just put the different words because I don't recall the full title of that. Smashing how to run accessibility. Yeah, I'm running out of time, I know. Mismatch, and also there is a quite good book which I'm currently reading, Inclusive Design for Organization. Is a quite good. Also, there is a little bit a chapter how to incorporate the accessibility into the big organization and how to build the accessibility framework for your organization. So it's a little bit from both technical one and soft one. So totally recommend. There's a quite new book from previous year. Thank you for your question. If you have any more question, you can always contact me on the LinkedIn. And thank you for this very short meeting. And thank you very much for the organization because you're the best one. And thanks.